Alright, what's up YouTube? My name is She, and this is the next installment of my screaming tutorial videos that have been popularly requested. So far we've learned how to do the throat singing, we've learned how to get that raspy air going against the back of our throat, sticking them together. And then in this one, we're going to work instead on some tonal distortion. Now, I've already kind of touched on this in some other videos, like the video with me and Jesse Nemitz. Has a good explanation of tonal distortion. But tonal distortion, a lot of people claim is really unhealthy for you. And it's only unhealthy if you are doing it on the vocal cords themselves. And because that's just straight abusing, like putting pressure on them instead of putting pressure up above them. And so I know that I personally know the difference between the two, because I used to try for years to get good tonal distortion going and just couldn't. I'd sing 5 minutes, sing one song, and I'd just sound like I'd been at a football game all evening, screaming my head off, you know, just shot, voice shot. And so I didn't try very hard to do that because I knew I was damaging myself and I never really knew what I was doing wrong. But I eventually ended up figuring it out, just through like mimicry and stuff. That's how I learn, is through mimicking. So I do a lot of demonstrations myself, so hopefully any mimicking learners out there can do the same. So for tonal distortion, it's got two parts. The one part, the important part, is that you've still got that normal, untarnished, pure whatever you're singing underneath. I'm going to use, what's a good song to use? Dang. You'd think I would have thought of this before sitting down, right? Let's just do like Enter Sandman. Like, exit light, enter night. That'll be our little doodad. So, you know, you sing it just real clean like that, but then work on trying to get, I know you can make this sound just kind of a grunt, like a, like you just saw something gross, like, or you're gesturing angrily at somebody, damn it, like you're bad. So, do that. Get to a point where you can just go like maybe, because you can still go, pick a tone and try to work on it from there so that you're not just all over the place, but like, and so then you just kind of stick them together. Exit light, enter night, take my hand, we're off to Never Never Land. And I'm not great at this, but unlike most of my other kinds of screaming, but I pat myself on the back. No, but just work on doing that, and you'll be able to get it. And if you're try to keep it above the vocal cords, like if you approach it from the top, then it'll just sit on top of your tone. Like underneath, you still gotta have that exit light, enter night. But if you're doing it from underneath, then it's more likely to be rasping straight on the chords, and then you're just going to be shot. You're going to destroy your voice. And I've been doing this for at least 8 years, and I have zero vocal damage whatsoever. So the people that claim you can't do harsh, distorted vocals without damaging yourself, or without resorting to lame techniques like the Melissa Cross Fry screaming, it's not true. Not true at all. So just work on that. Wish I could go a little bit more in depth in that for that kind of screaming, or I mean singing. But then there's another kind of tonal distortion that I do, and it's heavier because it's less of a distorted tone than it is a scream on a pitch. And again, it has two parts. You've got the one part, and this is going to be from my song Circles, and the main part is the "there's fog obscuring my view." You've got to just have that pitch that you can do. Because if you can't do the pitch, you're probably not going to be able to do the vocal distortion. And you shouldn't rely on distortion in order to hit a pitch. That's the hallmark of problems to come, most likely. So Yeah, so get that, and then if you've got that one part that's just the real clean, there's fog obscuring, etc., and then you get the other part, which would just be, for me, in this particular song, just a balls out, like, scream. There's fog obscuring my view! And then you just stick them together, which would sound like, there's fog obscuring my view! And it's this song, and then you put the compression on it! And it takes a lot of control to be able to shift in between those two, but if you can stick them together, you can get to a point where you can just gradually go into one by changing and just kind of working with the amount of compression you have. I do this also in our song Split by the Sun. Going in from a tonal pitch to a scream, because they should be linked. If you can't just go straight from one to the other, it's just because you haven't practiced enough. It's not because it's not possible. So always aim for that kind of thing, because it does sound really cool. If you can, the descending rays of the